We are just coming off AEW's amazing weekend, their big show, and it was definitely
Pay-per-view
presented
of the
that
year,
way.
Brian. Just say it. Just say
It
it.
wasn't the best favorite of the year, but we're talking about Britt Baker, as you guys see in the thumbnail, man. And man, woo, that performance was a little bit, you know what I'm saying, underwhelming. For the storyline, what it was. We're talking about the AEW original versus the person who came to AEW and was given everything. So, Kenny, we got to go on ahead and talk about this, my boy. Before we went and started this video here, you told me that Britt Baker posted a clip earlier today, and she was getting absolutely fried on a pan with a lot of grease. You know what I'm
A
saying?
lot of grease.
What happened, my boy? Tell us about it.
But before we get into it, Brian, I want to ask you a few things because you just brought up the fact that she's AEW's homegrown girl. Mercedes Moné comes in there. She pretty much, they gave her the win. Was it the right decision for Mercedes to win this match, or do you think they made a mistake by giving it to her so early?
Well, Mercedes was the heel in the match, so I'm not mad at her winning. I feel like when you have a babyface win so fast, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, story's over. But I think you can kind of build on this, even if they pause this storyline for now and then come back to it later, and Britt can get her win, couple months down the line.
Well, Brian, I don't know if that's going to happen, my boy. I don't know if it's going to happen after what we've seen. Hold on, let me get this thing pulled up for you because as Brian stated, y'all, Britt Baker posted this clip. I'm not going to show the clip of the match just because y'all know they will copyright us.
Yeah.
So it was just interesting because she didn't put any context to it. Now, after the match, people were cooking her saying like, oh, she was terrible. I saw one post of a Britt Baker fan page actually saying I turned on her. I don't know how I sided with her for so long. I can't believe I actually made a Britt Baker fan page. So the people are turning on Britt Baker. Before I give y'all my opinions on that, let's go ahead and take a look at the comment section of this clip she posted. Again, no context. She just reposted the clip. I'm thinking she was thinking it was like a high spot, like it was really good what they did, which, you know what? Again, I think it was fine, but the people. So Reham says, girl, you are horrible. Now, sports and wrestling guy Joe, he gave a good little response to it. Despite losing last night at All In, you still put on a very good performance. And just to give y'all a little spoiler here, I agree with Joe. I don't think the performance was terrible. This guy says this is like when your favorite NBA player does a bad game and he starts posting throwback tweets, or you start posting throwback tweets, trying to remember the good times. Freaking Visionary says, stick to being a dentist. Corb says about to get copyrighted. That's why you got to be careful. You're good, Britt. Don't listen to them. Tribal wrestling. Now, these are a lot of WWE tribalists in here. Y'all got to, take a look at what's going on, but saying pretty much, please retire. And I'm not going to say she needs to retire, but it was a bad night out. And if you go down this comment section here, you're going to see a lot of people, some praising her, but a lot of people are burying her. And some people might say, rightfully so. Now, just to give y'all my thoughts on the match in its entirety, I don't think the match was terrible. I think the match could have been a lot worse than it was. I felt like those girls were in there and they were working hard, trying to kind of, do their thing. Stand up in there with some of the best wrestlers on the planet on the AEW roster. As we know, you put these two in here, they got to perform. I think Mercedes Moné has kind of had it rough since she came back, but she hasn't been wrestling for a long time, so I get it. And Britt Baker, I mean, while she's kind of made a name for herself on the mic in AEW, her ring skills have always been subpar. I think her match with Thunder Rosa was actually her best one, but I mean, I don't think this was anything far outside of what she normally gives us. So, Brian, what did you think about the performance as a whole?
I'll be honest, man. This was the worst match of the night. This match completely took me out the show for that moment, and then I was able to come back in and really jump back into things. And I even told y'all that after that. It's not even me being a tribalist. I texted y'all in the group chat and I said, hey, bro, can we all agree this was the worst match of the night? Because that's just really how I felt at the time, bro. Like, I started going through every match, and yeah, there's always those matches that take you out, like the Chris Jericho one, and that match was pretty bad too. But I think that the expectations that the Mercedes Moné match and Britt Baker match had, it was just a letdown completely for me. Like, I even told the guys while we were in here watching, I'm like, oh, I'm actually invested into this match. This is the one that I've been looking, forward to because, the story behind it. Like I said before, Britt, the homegrown girl, and then Mercedes, who just got given everything, the millions, all that. You know what I'm saying? And I've heard in the past, and I don't know how true it is, allegedly, Britt Baker wasn't cool with all that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, Britt Baker had been there since the beginning. So there's probably a little bit of real heat for this match, you know. But unfortunately, it wasn't it wasn't that good of a match to me. So that's just how I felt about it. Hopefully, though, like in the future, if they run it back, hopefully it's better. I can't help but feel for Britt though, because at the end of the day, these people are humans, and when you're putting them through this type of backlash and comments online, you know, I'm sure that some of them have tough skin, especially when you're in public all of the time. But I'm sure it got to hurt a little bit. What you think, Kenny?
A little bit, man. I think she feels very bad because you're going in there with who some people would say is the best women's wrestler in the world. I wouldn't say that, but she's definitely up there. Hater or lover, she's one of the best. But I mean, if you go in there and you can't perform with Mercedes Moné, what do? You're coming back from this long injury, from a suspension. So since she's came back, it hasn't really been good for her. And this is just really the cherry on top. I'm surprised she didn't take this post down because again,
Yeah, I
those
mean,
comments don't look good. So, I
she's
mean,
a crook.
but again, to me, I don't think the match was terrible. I think it was a serviceable match. It wasn't up there with the best matches we've seen, and I do think Chris Jericho and Hook was the worst match of the night. But what was so offensive to you in this match, Brian? What part of it like
It
took you out
just
of it where you were like, this sucks?
it just didn't deliver, bro. Like it's one of those matches where it's like it's going. There's nothing like that happened that it's like, oh my god, there's no way that just happened. It's not one of those things. It's more just like it just didn't hit. You know what I'm saying? Like you got
I
those
know what
matches
you
that
mean.
hit, and that was certainly not one of them on the show. But yes, you're right. Chris Jericho and Hook. That is a story for another day, and I don't plan on talking about it. Yeah, that was bad. They was playing cricket in the ring,
Like,
or
what are
dodgeball
y'all
with
doing?
apples. It was just bad. So maybe worst match of the night to Mercedes and Britt. That might be a little harsh, being what was displayed between Hook and Chris Jericho, but I would definitely at least give it second worst match of the night, right behind Chris Jericho and Hook. I mean,
Might have been a tie. Might have been a tie because all of the other wrestling on the show was fire.
it
Which
was
brings me to my next point. So they put Tony Storm and Mariah May at the beginning of the card and kind of held this Britt Baker and Mercedes Moné
yeah,
match for closer to the end, like in the bigger spot. But I mean, I think Mariah May and Tony Storm outshined them like night and day
100
difference.
100% the bigger story.
Yep.
100%.
Tony Storm had the bigger championship, but they still gave Mercedes the bigger spot. And
I'm
eh,
I'm I'm okay though with, sorry to cut you off, but I'm okay with Tony opening the show. Uh because it's like a lot of the times like the world title opens the show or closes the
mhm,
show. So opening
yeah,
and closing is, the two most important matches of the night. So I'm honestly cool with
I don't
that,
think
but I
she had
see
the
what you're
first
saying.
match, did she?
Yeah, they opened up the show
They came
together.
out
I
first. They
Yeah, I
opened.
believe they did.
No, 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 no.
She
Because I
did it.
remember on the pre-show, it was the House
Oh,
of
you're
Black.
right. House of Black opened the show. Yeah,
Yeah,
AEW
yeah,
do things
yeah.
a little bit different sometimes. So for AEW, I would
Nah,
not say that the opening is the most important match of the night in this case, because it definitely
that would
wasn't.
have made sense though. If they put those two out there first in the first match, I was like, okay, because I know WWE does that. You
Right.
get like a main event at the beginning, and then you get a main event at the end. So
It's just like two
I could see if they
highs.
did it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But let us know down below which was the worst match of AEW. All into you. Let us know, and which one was your favorite match as well. We don't want to just talk about the lows of the show, because it truly was an
And
amazing
what was your
show.
favorite match before we get out of here?
My favorite match before I get out of here, man, they all a little bit forgettable, but I would probably go,
Oh,
I'm just playing. I
get
probably
him
go.
out of
I ain't
here.
gonna lie, I like Swerve and Brian. It was a little underwhelming at first, but it was like that. It was like, all right, the baby face match, bro. Get beat down, and then come back
The
and win the
John
match.
Cena match. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah,
Brian's a WWE guy, so he brought it over to AEW. But still, I think it was the best match of the night.
for sure.